It's time for Talk of Tallahassee, a public affairs program highlighting key issues of concern for Tallahassee and surrounding counties.
Good morning. Welcome to this edition of Talk of Tallahassee. I'm your host, Tammy Webb, and in the studio I have Martha Clark with Adult and Community Education. We like to call it ACE. And Chris Rowell, who's mom of one of the students who've been through the programs at ACE. Hi, Chris.
Hi, good morning.
Thank you for coming in. I can't wait to share your story about what you went through and the experience with you and your son. But first, can we turn to Martha? Children, teens, not the only ones getting ready for back to school, as Martha will tell you, with Adult and Community Education School. We're going to share their programs and what their school has to offer persons 16 and older in our community that can help how many percent of adults in Leon County?
Up to possibly 20%.
Oh, my goodness. That's a big gap there.
If you include the high schoolers.
Okay.
We base that on the census data from 2010, so we're looking forward to getting new census data real soon.
Oh, yeah.
But 1 in 10 households in Leon County have at least one person who does not speak English.
Oh, wow.
And according to the last census data, potentially 1 in 8 households have at least one person who is 18 or older who does not have a high school diploma.
Wow, that's staggering.
And then when you add all the high school students in there, and we have a special program that helps them, which I'll be telling you about, we figure we're close to maybe 20% of the households in Leon County have somebody we can help, but we can also serve people outside of Leon County.
How so? I mean, what counties do you serve with ACE?
We can serve anybody here in Florida. These are state workforce programs, and they allow us to serve people 16 and older who need an alternative path to earning a high school diploma. We offer GED prep classes, which prepare them to pass the GED test,
right,
earn that state of Florida high school diploma. We help people who need to learn English as a second language, and we also help high school students who need to stay on track for graduation with free classes in their schools. And if there's any adults listening who maybe just needed 1 or 2 classes to graduate in their high school, they've aged out or had to leave school for any reason, we can help give them that adult in our adult high school program. We can help them earn that 1 or 2 last credits and earn that high school diploma that they were so close to getting.
That is just wonderful news when you think about it, Martha, because you're giving people an opportunity to basically go back in time and fix things that for whatever reason, whatever life might have thrown at them, they weren't able to do.
Absolutely, absolutely. And provide another pathway to that important diploma, that high school diploma. On average, the latest statistics from the U.S. Bureau of Labor and Statistics came from 2017, and those show that the average person with a high school diploma earns $12,600 more per year than the person without it. So we often think about, and we do encourage our students to continue their education in a trade like at Lively Technical College or at Tallahassee Community College or Florida State, but just earning that high school diploma alone, on average, allows you to gain employment that's going to help you more than $1,000 a month in your income.
That's amazing when you think that some people only bring home around $1,000 a month.
Absolutely it is.
Now, I'm looking at my notes here. If parents and students are listening and maybe their kids made like a D or an F in a core class last year, can you help them to take care of that? Because that D or F sticking there on that report card, even from last year, that's not good.
Absolutely we can. One of our great programs that we help 300, 400, sometimes more high school students every year is helping to turn that D or that F into a C or better. And here's the way we do it. If you make a D or an F in a core class, first of all, if it's the F and you failed, you are required to get that grade up in order to graduate.
Right, you got to take it again.
Right. Even a D can hurt you. If, for example, like I had a child who made a D in a Algebra 2, the first semester of Algebra 2. Well, you're not going to do too well in the second semester if you made a D in the first.
Right.
So our high school credit classes helped him improve that grade and then actually do really well the second semester.
Because he learned what he had missed, that's why he made the D.
Right. And so often when a student doesn't do well in a class and they struggle, there's different options for making that class up. One of them will be a virtual or an online class often. In like the case of my son and so many other students, if they've struggled in a class, they need more hands-on than they do in classes they haven't struggled with, rather than trying to teach it to themselves online. And that's what happens. We offer free, in all capital letters, FREE, free high school credit recovery classes on each of the high school campuses. So students can come after school, get hands-on, small group, sometimes even one-on-one tutoring. They have an online program, so if there's chapters or units they can get through themselves, great. They can do it at home, but they get that hands-on teacher. So they really get the best of both worlds in our classes to help them succeed and stay on track for high school graduation.
That is just amazing when you think that this is in every high school in Leon County.
Right.
If you're a parent listening to any of our 5 Cumulus radio stations this morning and you're thinking, wow, how come I didn't know about that? That's okay. Now you do know about it.
Now you know about it. And even for students in private schools, we have classes on our main campus. So if a homeschooler or a private school student has also made a D or an F and they need to make that up, these are classes that are certified with certified teachers. They make that up. They take their test in the class. They're just phenomenal.
It's a win-win situation is
Absolutely.
what it is. And as you're speaking to me, I struggled with math, so I can relate to exactly what your child must have been through. And once you get lost in math, you're pretty doggone lost.
It does build on itself.
So it's nice to know that you can go into that small setting that you described with that teacher after regular classes. I'm not sure, and you can ask what the guidance counselor,
Right,
when these are
right.
scheduled.
Yes, if a parent or a student is listening right now and they know, woo, this is hanging over my head from last year, I've got some classes or a class I need to take care of. Don't wait. Give your guidance counselor a week or two to get all the new first, year things under their belt, and then go to them, talk to them. They have the forms for you to co-enroll. You stay at your high school, but you enroll in our classes on your campus, or you can come to our campus and take care of that. And don't let that drag you down. Oftentimes people wait to the last semester of their senior year to start trying to make those credits up, and often they can't in time.
Mm-hmm. So do it now.
Do it now. Stay on top of it.
Now, I don't know if this is something you can answer, but as you were talking, I was wondering if they're enrolled in these kind of makeup kind of help classes. They're still enrolled, like, for say, in an actual math class along with their schedule. This is an addition that you're taking.
This is in addition to it. So whatever their schedule would be, that may be their last math class or whatever, but it doesn't impact the schedule that you're taking at your home high school.
And I want to give a little love at this point to the homeschooling parents, too. Something I could never do, but I applaud you for doing it. But don't feel guilty if they don't get it from you. They may need another way of learning. And somebody else, these teachers, for example, that are available to you, may be able to get in there where you couldn't.
Absolutely. And these are certified teachers. And typically a certified teacher, if you try to hire them to tutor your child, it's going to be $40, $50 an hour. So this is a great service. The state provides this program. We're the provider of it here in Leon County, and we're excited. We feel it's a real service to our high schoolers and their families.
And once again, Martha, we do want to remind everybody that this is absolutely free.
Absolutely.
Ask the guidance counselor. Okay, there's something else going on at ACE, and I feel like I want you to talk a little bit about it, and that's about your English classes.
Yes, we have the largest ESOL program for internationals in the area. ESOL stands for English for Speakers of Other Languages.
So no matter what the language?
No matter what the language. Last year, we taught more than 400 students from more than 30 countries.
Ooh.
So we had a lot of different languages there. And we offer morning, afternoon, and evening classes. We have some great teachers in this program, and they help people at all levels, from beginning to advanced students.
Wow.
So no matter what the level of their proficiency in English is, all the way down to those who come to us. Maybe we have quite a few refugees who come to us. They aren't even literate in their own country, in their own native tongue, much less English, and we help them from the lowest levels up to the highest. We sometimes even have visiting professors from FSU or FAMU who come to take classes to improve their English while they're here.
That is amazing, compassionate learning. I love this. Now tell people how they can get some information about this.
Great. You can visit our website, aceleon.org. That's ACELEON.org. Or give us a call at 850-717-2020.
All right. If you're just joining us, getting close to halfway through the program this morning with Martha Clark. She works with adult and community education. And you have brought a guest in today. I briefly introduced her at the beginning of the show, but we want to have you go ahead and introduce your guest that you brought in, if you will, Martha.
This is Chris Rao. Chris is a parent of a Randall, who was one of our students last year, one of our star students, I might say.
Okay.
And she's going to share with other parents who may be listening or other students about how ACE provided an alternative path for her son to earn that high school diploma.
Fantastic. Good morning, Chris, and welcome to the program.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Now, your son was how old when you got into the program? Was he still in high school?
He was. It was his senior year. He was
okay.
18.
Oh, okay. Yeah, a lot of kids are 18, some of them even 19. I have a late birthday, so I know I was late, and my grandson the same thing. So what made you, and I'm going off script here, what made you think about ACE for your son?
Well, first I'd like to say that Randall's my second son, and my first son went through high school, graduated with honors, and is in college.
So traditional high school for number one son, and then number two son, no.
Right. Randall went through probably through the middle of his junior year, and it became very apparent that he may or may not graduate because he was getting to school late. He was not completing the projects that they gave him at home, and sometimes he wasn't completing the projects that they gave him at school. And it was very frustrating because he's a very smart young man. He'd always done great in school. And so we really struggled with what to do. And I would go and talk to his teachers, and they loved him, and he was contributing verbally in class, and they were also frustrated with the fact that, their assignments weren't turned in.
Can I back you up just a minute? Mm-hmm. You said that he went all the way until his junior year, so elementary school, very active in school?
Yes.
And then even middle school, those famous, oh my goodness, years that for me were cringing for every child I saw through middle school. But he went through that fine.
Yes, Randall was, always in the honors classes. He was doing well, and he just kind of lost interest in school.
Okay.
And so we really were trying to figure out what to do with Randall.
Okay, so then you started considering options. And how'd you find out about ACE?
Well, actually, a friend of mine recommended ACE, and so that was very helpful because at this point, Randall had enough attendance failures and poor classwork that he probably wasn't going to get a high school diploma.
As a parent,
with his
you had
friends.
to be so frustrated.
I was brokenhearted, really.
Because you knew this is a good kid.
Right. He's a great kid. And so that was part of the frustration is, what do I do to turn this around?
But you tried all the traditional things.
Right.
The grounding, the whatever.
Oh, yes. We did all the discipline stuff. We did all the meetings with the teachers. They got tired of seeing me in guidance. And,
I've heard a guidance teacher say once upon a time, a long time ago, the more I'm seeing you, the more I know you're caring about your child. Right. So I'm sure they would give you props for being in there. But none of that just seemed to work.
Right.
And then your friend told you about ACE.
Yes. And so I actually called and talked to Martha a couple times, I believe, about what the transition would look like and what to do. And
was it difficult to transition from regular school into ACE?
I don't think it was hard for Randall, but it was hard for me as a parent to let go of I want you to do it this way because this is the way to success.
But it's not always the way.
Right.
Oh, wow. As a mom, that had to be like wait a minute, there's a different way.
Right. So it was very much a relief to know there was a different way, and then it was still, grasping that was hard.
Because you did it already with your first child.
Exactly.
So it was supposed to be exactly the same.
Right.
And I'm hoping the listeners are getting that point this morning because, Chris, I really wanted to bring this out that just because we as parents think this is how it's supposed to be with our child's education, that's not always the way it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And so you finally made the decision, and he's excited about it?
I don't know that he was excited about it as much as he knew that something had to change as well.
Okay.
And so he really, I went from begging him to go to school every day to him getting himself up and getting himself to the classes at ACE. He took control of that. He got himself, he got himself there. He, really worked with his teachers to progress through the program very quickly.
Very quickly?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yes, and I might interject. Oftentimes we help students learn a lot of material, but Randall did come to us from his traditional high school with a lot of knowledge. And just as his older brother had graduated with honors, there's no doubt Randall could have done the same thing. He was very bright. His teachers immediately began to see he was very close, are ready to take certain sections of the GED test. And in fact, on his social studies section, he made a perfect score.
Oh, my
which is
goodness.
a 200, which is almost unheard of.
Perfect score.
In many, many, many years since we've had anybody make a perfect score. We were really excited when a young lady made 198 several years back. But not only did he make a perfect score on the social studies section of the GED, but he scored at honors level and above on every other section. And he did, I think he was out within 4 or 5, maybe 6 weeks at the most of coming to us. He had passed all the sections. So
he is a shining star. I mean, that's not normal.
That is not normal. So props to both Randall and his family and all of his teachers that preceded us. Where we came in for Randall, and we intercede in people's educational process at different points. In Randall's case, we came in and just gave another pathway. The one he had, it wasn't not working because he hadn't been taught well or for any problems at the traditional high school. He just needed another alternative path. That one just wasn't working for him.
I'm really excited to see Chris's face when she talks about her son and the changes that, because as parents, and if you don't have any in high school, it's coming to you, the not wanting to get up out of bed, the, oh, I'm sick, and you knew something wasn't right, but you didn't know what was right.
Right. And I didn't know what to change to fix it. And so giving him another way to get back on track was a real godsend for us because he's registered now for TCC. He's going to be taking classes in the fall. He's eligible for some scholarships. I mean, he is right where all of his friends are, and doing it his way,
And he's happy about this? Everything worked out for him?
Yes, he's doing very well.
I knew he couldn't be here. We wanted to have him here today. And kids at that age, trying to get them off their own schedules. But you're seeing him being productive in other forms of his life as well?
I'm seeing him take the success that he has here and work that into other areas. He feels more confident and more capable in his own abilities now.
I bet you are such a proud mom with these GED test scores. That's unbelievable. How did that make you feel?
Well, I have to say I've always known he was smart, but I was I'm proud of him. He's doing good.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned that he's getting ready to go to TCC because I was going to ask you what are the steps, what are the plans, and is he happy with this?
Yes, he's ready to move on and, in the next phase of his life.
Well, I do want to ask you this question. Where do you think you would be today without the option ACE provided to earn the high school diploma for your son? Where do you think you and your family or Randall would be at this point?
That's a really good question because I'm not sure what we would have done had Randall not he was not going to graduate with his friends. And so
that would have been so devastating for him,
right,
to see everybody else going on and moving on, and he had too many days absence, as you said, and
right,
he just
and so
wasn't
many missed
participating.
assignments that he just wasn't participating in school. And so he would have had to have taken the GED, but without ACE, providing the structure, I don't know that he would have proceeded with that. He would have never accomplished it.
And that's a good point that you're making right now. And Martha, I want you to talk a little bit about this too, because people say, well, I can sign up and just take the test.
That is very true.
But
and you can if you're 18 or older.
Right.
But here's how we help, and perhaps I'd like to think maybe one of the ways we helped Randall is, in his case, he didn't need months or years of instruction, but by going into class and by having our teachers say to him, wow, you've got a strong background, you're ready. It gives you the confidence. We all know that a part of taking a test, only one part is the knowledge that you know. The other is being able to confidently go in there, know how that test is designed, so that you begin to take the equation of taking the test out of the equation, the factor of having to know the test. So they help prepare you for the test. And then our teachers can give you the confidence by saying, Randall, you are ready. Go ace that test. You can do this. And then you go in there, and I see the difference when students walk in to take that test
with confidence
and with their teachers' encouragement and support. And they also don't waste money taking it multiple times that way. But something else that Chris mentioned, which is so important, is that Randall's taking the success he had at ACE, and he's able to turn that into future successes with confidence. And sometimes in life, as parents, we get in our minds, there's only one path that's successful. And our children sometimes take another path. And I just want to encourage parents that whether ACE is the right option for your child or not, I don't know. But sometimes when something's not working, trying another alternative path where they can find success. There's that saying that success breeds success.
Yes.
And failure sometimes breeds failure. When we're in a situation where we keep struggling, if we can sometimes change just enough of
See
the
that
trajectory,
little light at the end of the
That's
tunnel.
right. And move in a little different path where we can find some success, we're able to emotionally, intellectually take that and move into a different place of greater success and build on it. And so that's what's exciting for me to hear Chris saying that Randall's been able to do.
And Chris, you're seeing this now. I don't know, is he working?
He's looking for jobs.
Okay, so if anybody's hiring,
Absolutely.
and you want a good young man who's building a future right now, because I know that sometimes that boost will make you feel more secure in going out and trying to get a part-time job. Because, kids that age, they want money to spend, gas and friends and fun. So, it's kind of one of those things that I was just curious if maybe that might be something that would lead into a job in the near future. What is he wanting to do? Does he know yet?
He's not decided on his major, but he is looking at some sort of youth ministry options.
Wonderful.
Right.
Wonderful.
Encouraging others.
That is what this world needs today, more encouragement from each other. If you are just joining us, I always say in the final 5, we've got about 6 actually left minutes, and we have been talking with Martha Clark, who's with ACE, Adult Community and Education, and Mom Chris Raw. And boy, I'm so happy to be able to hear your story of how successful your son was to go through this program. I know, Martha, that you mentioned he went through quickly, but there might be others who are saying, I just really didn't get the educational skills I needed from way back. Do you have room to help people like that as well?
Absolutely. We have classes at all levels, and we have classes at all locations around town. So I want to talk about that in a minute. But often the beauty of our program is there's strengths to each educational option. One of the strengths in adult education is our school and our teachers have the flexibility to let students go at their own pace. When they first begin during orientation, they take a test called the Test of Adult Basic Education, and that is a guide for our teachers. It tells them what they already know. So we want to help people get through as fast as they can, so we don't give them the lessons that they obviously already know. If they know how to multiply and divide, we don't give it to them. But if we see they need to learn to multiply and divide fractions, then we put them in those lessons. There's a lot of our classes are smaller, and a teacher has the option to reteach a lesson over and over and over again and let students who already have that lesson move on to something else.
Good.
And as a result, our students kind of go at their own pace. When they hit a subject that's hard or a chapter or the unit that's hard, they have time to sit there and work with it for a while.
Grasp it.
And grasp it before they move on. Likewise, when they pick up something fast, they can just move right on. And so we do help students all the time. I had a student one time who came to me in her 40s, did not know how to read or write.
Bless her.
Taught her how to form her letters and everything. So that was on the very low end, but she actually was one of the most motivated students I've ever seen, and actually went from learning that to earning her high school diploma in a little over a year.
Wonderful story. Wonderful story.
We have lots of good stories. And our classes are morning, afternoon, and evening.
Okay.
All over town. Our main campus is on Appleyard Drive. We share a campus with Lively Technical College. So we're excited to be there because half of our students immediately transition to technical school or college, and they do that the very next semester that they're eligible to after graduating. And then a greater percentage even come back and do that a year later or whatever. But we are excited about our partnership there with Lively. But we have classes all over town. As far north as at the old Bradfordville one-room schoolhouse.
Wow.
Up off of Bannerman Road. And we have classes as far west as at Lincoln High School. We have classes in many locations around town, and again, morning, afternoon, and evening classes.
Now, if they're listening this morning and they're like, okay, where can I find some information because I missed parts of the show and I want to know where to go to get all this information?
Right. Our website, aceleon.org, aceleon.org, and our school phone number is 850-717-2020. That's 717-2020.
And let me turn back to Chris now. Any final thoughts for parents, maybe, Chris?
I just want to encourage parents and students to look into the program and see if it's a good fit for them, because it may be just what they were looking for as it was for our family.
And now one last thing. The classes for students, high school students, those are free.
Those are free.
And then adults?
GED and ESOL classes are $30 a semester.
You're not going to find that anywhere
No,
else.
the state really funds those tremendously well, but they do want students to have some buy-in in that.
There was one question that I meant to ask you, and we have about 30 seconds, so hopefully you can answer it. If people are getting ready to take the GED, they can take a segment each time as they're ready to take it. They don't have to take it all at once.
That's correct.
So if I'm good at social studies, I can go ahead and take that. If I'm good at
Absolutely.
English, and then I can get help with the others.
Correct.
All right. You've been listening to Talk of Tallahassee. Our guest today, Martha Clark with ACE Adult and Community Education. Give me that website one more time, Martha.
All right. aceleon.org. That's ACELEON.org. And our phone number is 850-717-2020.
Thank you both so much for coming. Chris, it was a pleasure to meet you.
You too. Thank you.
And thank you, Martha.
Thank you, Tammy, for having us.
This has been Talk of Tallahassee, an Issues and Answers public service program, covering issues of concern to those living in the Tallahassee area. If you have a concern you'd like to have discussed on our program, you can email us at tallahasseeissues@cumulus.com. That's tallahasseeissues@cumulus.com. Talk of Tallahassee is presented by WBZE-FM Tallahassee.